Stop the madness. Keep it 100. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100 with your hosts, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 with live call-ins, heated discussions about current events, politics, national news, weather, and sports. Join our live online chat room and let your opinion show. Download our phone app. Stop the madness. Keep it 100 on STMK Radio 100. Come join us from 6 to 8 p.m. Mondays through Fridays. The best talk show on the web is here on STMK Radio 100. Call us at 1-866-484-7865. That's 1-866-484-STMK. Stop the madness. Keep it 100. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible Study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608 @yahoo.com. That's BROBILL 9608 @yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
STMK Radio 100. You're listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your host, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100.
Yes, this is a PSA, a public street announcement. You are now listening to a Kickback production. Light up your L's, lean back, and listen.
Welcome to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. First show of the year. I'm your host, Sean L., and in Studio 51 with me today is Cleveland stand-up comic Doug Million. And Doug, welcome to the Funny Chair. Doug is going to be one of our new crew members here on Stop the Madness, and we're going to run it live.
Oh, man. Thank you. Happy New Year to everybody out there. We back live. First show of the year, man. We gonna kick it. We got some stuff to talk about today, bro.
We wanted to say welcome to Facebook Live, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Skype, SoundCloud. We are all over the web. We like to thank all our social media people for coming in and watching us today and sticking with us for the new year 2017. We're going to start it off, and we're going to come down on a lot of issues right here. Also, if you like to come in live to Studio 51, where you can see everybody on the crew and what's happening in the studio,
Come on
you can
in,
go
kick
to
your shoes off,
stmkradio100.com
put your
to
feet up.
Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 page, and click on the link and come right into
Get
Studio
your
51.
headphones and your
And if you're on
opinions
social
together.
media, you can go to Facebook, STMK Radio 100 Facebook page, and click on the link and come right into Studio 51. Or you can go to Twitter.
Twitter.
And if you are Snapchat Live or Instagram Live, all you have to do is click on the link below to
Click,
take
click,
you
click,
right into
click,
Studio
click, and get on
51.
in.
And if you have the phone app, you already know. All you have to do is click the app and come in free.
But get your opinions together and get it on in there. I got a little announcement for you there, Sean. STMK Radio 100 has partnered up with Kickback Records to introduce new and emerging artists. Now, you can showcase your talents on Keeping It Real 100 by sending us a video or audio recording of yourself or your group. You can come in person, interview of yourself or with your group, and let us know about your event, and we'll pass the date, the time, and the venue on to our listeners. Now, check this out. This is an advisory. Ensure that all your original music is copywritten before appearing on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. Neither Kickback Records nor STMK Radio 100 are responsible for any copyright infringements after we broadcast on STMK. You can contact us by visiting us on the website at stmkradio100.com and follow the link to email us, or you can email us directly at stmkradio100 at aol.com. That's stmkradio at 100 at aol.com. So all you new and emerging artists, get it together, man, because this is serious business. This is for the young folks out there that's talented. We know y'all out there. Listen, the city that we live in is a literal breeding ground for talent. It's time for y'all to come on up out the shadows and showcase your talent.
And we want to hear from you. We definitely want to hear from you because STMK Radio 100 is about giving back. If you want to get into the business, we do web shows, we do DJ shows, we do church shows also. This is a upcoming black-owned web station, and you need to get up into it with us and make this happen work.
You
Uh,
really do.
Also, we want to talk about right here is that the new artist program that Doug Million was just talking about. If you want to get on the air with free airtime, send us some of your music. Also, there's going to be a videotape interview in MP3 form, and you get free airtime, and hopefully you get selected to go into the studio with Kickback Entertainment. Kickback Entertainment is a production company here in Cleveland,
Yeah, man, they
Atlanta,
doing it.
and LA, and they're looking for new artists, and
And
you
they
just
are
might
doing
be
it.
the one. Now, here in the chat room today, Doug, we're
Before
going
you go to the chat room, one more thing for you young artists. Listen, I know a lot of you guys are out there saying right now, free, man, free. I don't want to put myself out there like that. Listen, in the beginning of your career, you've got to put yourself out there. You got to get your reels together. You got to get your demos tight. And that's how you do it. You do it by going out there and showcasing your talent, putting it out there. So make sure y'all do that and get on in here some kind of way, man. Because I mean, Kickback is really doing it. This thing is about to be worldwide, and you want to be a part of it. Don't miss this train, y'all.
because the train is moving out. But today, in the chat room is live and really jumping. And we was in the chat room earlier before the show. We did a couple of town halls last year, and there's a lot of good things going on, and there's a lot of things coming back. But today we want to ask our question, and this is for you Facebookers and for the people on Snapchat and everything that's looking for it, is the affordable. We're going to talk about the Affordable Care Act, aka Obamacare, and we're also going to talk about, are we going back into a collapse of our financial system,
Yes, sir.
and are we missing the signs that we missed in
Back in
2007?
2006,
7.
2007.
There you go, 2006, 2007. But I just want to correct something right here because one in the chat room, a heated argument, because we have heated arguments here at STMK.
And that's okay.
And my show, Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, is for you to express yourself and tell us how you feel. But you know what? You're also going to have to listen to other people's opinion. And in the chat
Right.
room,
It's
it
called
is
a
live and
difference
on
of opinion,
fire.
y'all.
Okay, and you have to, I'm going to say this is that uh, to bring everybody up to speed, someone in the chat room who is a Bernie or Bust believer said that
Oh boy.
President Obama had the Congress and House and the Senate for 2 years and could have did more and locked the
Nope.
Affordable Care Act in and everything. And I, I
Wrong.
I just don't want everybody to understand. I want everybody to understand this is that we cannot allow people to continue to put false rumors and lies out there or false
Right.
stories and not do the checking and the homework that we do because that's a disservice to everybody. Because you know what? What I love about this, you can always go to the library and get a book and pull up what you want to see. And that's what we're going to talk about because I went back into and got into this heated discussion right there, Doug, and I'm going to say this to everybody in the chat room right here, okay? You know, that's a good story that everybody want to say. You heard it on Fox News last week, and probably the 1st of April. You heard it on Morning Joe, and Joe Scarborough say the same thing that Barack Obama could have took care of all this, and he had it the Senate and the House for
And
two
that was
years.
such a good show.
Right. But before I accuse anybody of being unbelievable, forgetful, I have to admit myself, I can't remember for what I had for breakfast today or what I've been doing. So some people do forget things,
But
okay?
that's why you got to do your homework.
But lying is sometimes a crime. But when you lie on internet political blogs, that's not a crime. However,
Yet.
it should tug at your conscience when you put this false information out there and you got everybody coming back to you, Doug. And I want to say this to everybody. You cannot believe what you hear. So we're going to take a trip.
Not everything, y'all.
Right, we're going to take a trip back to 2008, and this is not something that everybody has to really go back to or remember, but we're going to bring you back and bring you up to speed, and let brush it up on some basics here. First, you forget that president needs 60 votes to pass legislation.
First off.
Okay, the health bill is a good example of that. There was not 60 votes in the Senate. Remember that. So when you come back to this, they had to use what was known as reconciliation, and what that means is that you have to get at least 51 votes to pass legislation.
A majority vote.
Okay, and that's coming back right now to haunt the Democrats because when they passed that for 51 votes, guess what they did? They're going to eat that now because of all of Donald Trump's uh, selection for cabinet positions right now.
Right.
The Republicans does not need one Democrat to help them vote or anything. They can approve them on a 50 votes thing and go on with what they want to do.
So they don't even need the majority vote. They
They-
just need a solid 50.
They need a solid 50. And then you realize that Harry Reid and the Democrats counseled the filibusters on appointments to help President Obama out because of all the obstruction that was coming on.
Right.
So at this point in time, you don't need 60 votes to point in an appointment. So I want everybody to realize this. But this was beforehand. So let's not jump ahead because we're going to come back to this for the Affordable Care Act, but let's not jump ahead, okay? So we know that you needed 60 votes at the time of 2008 when President Obama came into office,
Right.
okay? This is how it all comes down now, and this is how it is. If you remember at Obama's inauguration dinner, Senator Edward Kennedy suffered a seizure,
Right. I remember that.
okay? The Senate Democrats held the Senate by a 50 member margin, okay? They was the majority. But when Senator Kennedy had a seizure, and remember what I just told you, you need 51 votes. The 51st vote would have been the vice president if they needed him, okay?
If he was needed.
If he was needed. So when Kennedy had his seizure, he went back home to Massachusetts, okay?
Right.
So that means
So that killed that one vote.
no, that means that the Democrats no longer had a 50 vote majority. They was down to 49.
49. Okay, so they
What-
didn't even have a solid. It wasn't a 51.
Right.
That took them back to 49
Now,
because
and-
you have to exclude the vice president unless he was absolutely needed, which only would took him to 50.
There you go. Now, old news is so much fun to go back to and read here, Doug. So you have to look at this.
You got to do your homework.
Here, one has to forget, too, that Al Franklin the senator from
Al Franken, yeah.
Minnesota, his seat was being contested also. Okay.
Correct. I remember that.
So at this point, you had a 50 majority Senate lead for the Democrats, okay, but you had two people that wasn't in the Senate to vote. And you have to be present to vote.
Yeah, you definitely got to be
Okay.
present to vote when you're doing something
So
like that.
let's go there. Kennedy's seat
Kennedy's seat was
vacant because he was at home with his stroke, and Al Franken wasn't
was
sworn
being
in yet.
disputed. He hadn't been sworn in,
Correct.
so that was being disputed.
So that means the Democrats thing now is down to 48 votes, okay, instead of 50 votes.
So it was going backwards because it was down to 49 without the vice president, but then because of Al Franken and the Caesar by Kennedy, that took him back to 48. Now,
That's-
y'all paying attention and
that's
keeping
correct.
up with this. This is a lot of math and it's a lot of homework, but that's what you got to do, people. You got to go back. You got to do your homework. Because if you don't study your history, you are doomed to do exactly what we are about to do right now.
Now,
Repeat it.
if you count the independents and the people who caucus with the Democrats, they are now at 58 votes.
Okay.
Okay. To beat a filibuster, you need 60 votes.
So we still 2 votes shy.
2 votes
Now,
shy.
y'all keep up with
Okay.
this.
Because your 2 votes shy was Kennedy and Al Franklin.
Right.
Okay. So everybody has to understand that. The filibuster was 60 votes to pass a bill in the Senate. The Republicans was already playing dirty politics and would not work across the aisle because they already knew they had the upper hand. And if you remember when President Obama was elected into office, the Republicans immediately had a meeting and said that they was not going to work with President Obama no matter what happens,
No matter what happens.
if it was good or not, if it was a public thing or not. So then you have to look at this, okay?
So that means that the 2 years that they claimed that he had, he didn't have. 'Cause
Not only that, he didn't. Not only did he not have it, okay, and I'm bringing this into the chat room to let everybody know that there was 56 Democrats in the Senate in 2008, and 2 Democratic-minded people, Bernie Sanders and another independent. That's only 58 Democrats. With the 2 Democrats that I just told you wasn't even in office, that took us below the threshold to
of
beat
the filibuster.
the filibuster. Okay. Then in April of 2009, Republican Alan Specter, if you remember, he switched over from a Republican to a
To a
Democrat.
Democrat.
Okay. That gave the Democrat a 60-seat majority, which was to discourage the Republicans from their filibusters. Okay. And you have to understand that. But we forgot Al Franklin's.
Al Franken
was
was
still
being
not
disputed
the
because he
dis-
had not
right.
been sworn
He's
in.
not been sworn in, and his seat was being recalled, and the election results was being disputed. So that left the Democrats at 59 votes. Period. 59. They couldn't beat the filibuster. Then Senator Byrd was admitted into the hospital. You remember he went to the hospital.
Right.
Then Al Franklin was sworn in, but Byrd was still in the hospital, and Kennedy was not still there. So-
Kennedy was back in Massachusetts.
Right. So it wasn't until 2009 that Senator Kirk was appointed to Kennedy's seat. And that finally gave the Democrats a 60-vote majority where they could beat the filibuster.
Too little, too late.
Not too little, too late, but it was almost 16 months into President Obama's term.
Which gave him actually 4 months to deal with what he had to deal with.
That's correct. The filibuster-proof 60 votes only lasted 4 months. Not a year, not 6 months, not 2 years.
like
Okay.
they said.
Now,
4 months.
you go back and look at this, and that brings us right to what we want to talk about today, the Affordable Care Act. For everybody else who don't want to call it by its proper name, it's the AKA Obamacare. Okay.
Care.
Now, with Obamacare and the presidency, you have to understand one thing.
He meant well.
No, we were in a major crisis situation, and the health insurance was out of control.
Completely out of control.
Okay, so
Still is.
they had to come up with some laws and some things. Okay, and they came up with a Republican plan This is a Republican plan that everybody doesn't understand. This wasn't created by Democrats. It's a Republican plan. It's Romney Care, okay, from the state of Massachusetts, Governor
Right.
Romney. That's why he couldn't run against the Affordable Care Act, okay? Now, and everybody this year wanted the Affordable Care Act repealed. And that is something that everybody should be understanding right now,
Big mistake.
a repeal. And Vice President Biden said it best. And we're just going to sit back for a minute and I'm going to go through these things. Let's see if the control room can pull this up.
I think, look, I guess the best example I can give you is the Affordable Care Act. I love these guys. Ran against the Affordable Care Act, how terrible it is, how premiums went up. We're gonna repeal it. Go ahead, repeal it. Repeal it now. See what happens.
Okay, and you look at what he said. He said, go ahead and repeal it now and see what happened. There's another good thing out on the web, and everybody should know this, that it's called the Obamacare bind for the Republicans. And what I want to say is this. We talked last year before the end of the show about how the dog was chasing the car.
Mhm.
Okay, and the dog finally caught the car. The Congress Republicans have a new fear when it comes into their 2-year-old health care lawsuit against Obama's administration. And that fear is they might win the lawsuits that they put on, and now they have control of the House and Senate, and they have to repeal Obamacare because if they don't appeal Obamacare, the people who voted for him is going to be livid. The incoming Trump administration could lose a long defended branch against this suit. And they're going to challenge the administration and the authority to spend millions on health care. And this is something that everybody has to understand. No matter where you at, where you stand at, you're going to be touched.
Oh, believe it.
You're going to be
Believe it.
touched.
Trust and believe, because they're gonna get you one way or another. Because a lot of people don't even realize this. Because I've heard people say that I might as well not even get it and go ahead and accept the penalty at the end of the year, and you don't understand it. At one point in time, that penalty was only around $400. But if you look at it now, because I was just watching something, and when I did my homework and my research, I found out that it is now $565 or better for the penalty, and it's only going to keep rising.
But what you have to realize also is the people who voted and wanted to appeal did not realize this. If you have a city job and you're only paying $100 a month in your insurance benefits, guess what's getting ready to happen? It's going to explode to $300 to
Three to
$400.
$400.
If you retired, it's going to triple. Okay, you're going
And
to
you
pay.
already living on a fixed income.
Right, it's going to triple. If you have Medicaid or Medicare, it's
Say
really
bye-bye.
going to go. You have people in a bind that have to understand this. A sudden loss of subsidies could cause the health care program to explode and leave millions of people without access to
Without
health insurance.
access to health insurance, which means no access to your doctors. The prescription thing is gonna go out of whack again. Like we can afford it to go out of whack. It's already out of whack
But
and
it's
astronomical.
going to cause chaos because
Total chaos.
you can't tell insurance companies. And see, let's go back to 2007, 2008 when the Republicans was fighting this, trying to stop Obama from doing the Health Care Act. You cannot tell insurance company. Marco Rubio appealed the risk reimbursement clause in the Affordable Care Act. That's what started all this problem with the Affordable Care Act in the first time because everybody knew for 10 years the insurance company was going to lose money.
Right.
Also, they knew that everybody had to play. The young people had to get in to
Everybody.
take care of the older
Everybody
people.
from the bottom to the top.
Then the states had to do Medicare expansion and everything to take the burdens off of the states and the emergency rooms.
Right.
And then when Marco Rubio filed the Risk Reimbursement Act to appeal that, that told the insurance companies the money you lose, the federal government was not going to reimburse you for it.
Oh wow.
That made insurance companies start bailing. The third thing that happened in 2008, which caused this mess nobody want to talk about, is that some of the Republican governors refused to get into exchanges and help out. That
Oh, of course not.
that also caused a burden on the ones that was in there. and that caused insurance companies to start losing money, and they wasn't getting their money, and they bailed out. The third thing is that Medicaid and Medicare was expanded under the Affordable Care Act. That means those clauses, when they repeal them, they're not there. That means that if you got Medicaid, Medicare, you're going to pay a higher out of the pocket expenses, and
Whoa,
half the
whoa,
stuff
whoa,
is not
whoa, whoa,
covered.
whoa, whoa. So you saying once they repeal this thing,
Right.
once they repeal
Once
this
they
thing,
repeal it.
the Medicare and the Medicaid expansion is no longer there, and that means more. Wow, that means you got to dig deeper into your pockets. I mean, come on, man. You already pulling out lint. Now you pulling out dust.
Well, the problem that the Republicans have is they don't have anything to replace it with. You look at
Exactly.
you look at this. They've been fighting Obama for 7 years, and they have nothing to replace it with in 7 years. So when they appeal it to please their voters, that's telling their insurance companies that they have no idea what's going to be available to them. And you got all these people with pre-existing conditions. You got all these kids on the insurance thing. So the insurance company is going to start billing because guess
So
what?
what they gonna do with these people at this point?
They have no idea because you know what? It can cause the insurance market to explode. And to give you a little bit better insight, this is something that everybody should have heard, but a lot of people don't want to listen to this. Uh, Obamacare is a bind for the Republicans, and the Republicans are now in control of both the House
And the
and the Senate, and they're going to have to answer because immediately when they appeal Obamacare, even if they say they're going to leave it in effect to 2020, the health care industry is going to explode. You're going to have 22 million people without insurance, and there's a possibility that close to 33 million people might lose jobs. Nobody looked at that.
Might.
Might lose jobs because at the time, the insurance company hired people to help with uh, the Obamacare enrollment and stuff. Hospitals hired people to come in and help them
Right,
process
right,
all that
right,
stuff.
right.
Now you telling the hospitals they're not going to be reimbursed for their
So we
costs.
looking at another economic collapse.
We're looking at another economic boom that's on the way, and we're going to talk about that later on down the line.
That's crazy.
But we're going to tell everybody what health care is, what Obamacare is. This is something that everybody didn't understand in the beginning was when Obamacare employees were being laid off and were looking for that. Okay. And this is the bind for them. But let's go back over here for a minute.
Obamacare bind for Republicans. Campaign 2017 is on, and it is largely going to be about Obamacare. Where Republicans find themselves at the beginning of the new Congress, as they are in charge of all components of government, or will be when Donald Trump takes the oath of office in a couple of weeks, they find themselves with the need to deliver on the number one promise they have made to their voters over the last 6 years, which is to repeal Obamacare. The problem is they don't have an immediate solution of what to replace it with. There has been bipartisan agreement that there need to be fixes to the law. But what President Obama went up to Capitol Hill yesterday to convince Democrats was to say, if the Republicans repeal the law in total first, do not help them replace it. A bit of obstructionism from the Democrats and from President Obama after complaining of that kind of strategy against Republicans throughout his term in office. However, Democrats seem somewhat pie in the sky, hopeful that maybe they're going to be able to negotiate with the Republicans a way to fix it. That seems a bit far-fetched to me at the moment because, back to where I started, which is there is nothing else that Republicans have promised their voters over the last 6 years more than this repeal. It is what drove the 2010 midterms that gave Republicans control of the House of Representatives. It is what drove the 2014 midterms that gave them control of the United States Senate. And there was a large part of that in the 2016 election as well. So Donald Trump promised it every day on the campaign trail. Mike Pence was on Capitol Hill. He said, we are going to deliver on this promise. And the first order of business for the Trump administration is to repeal and replace. The rub is that there's no solution on replace yet. And because of how complex the law is, because of its overall impact on the economy, because of the way it is structured, it is very difficult to keep the popular items that Donald Trump has said he wants to keep. He wants to keep the ability for kids to stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26 years old. He is adamant that he keeps the protections for pre-existing conditions. The problem is, keeping the good stuff is hard to do without the thing that is most anathema to Republicans, which is the individual mandate, forcing everyone to get insurance. And that's because that was the way the insurance companies bought in. With that mandate, if everyone needed to get insurance, then there was a customer base for all of those insurance companies that gave them the incentive to extend coverage for pre-existing conditions, to be guaranteed to do so, to allow folks to stay on their parents' insurance until they're 26. In fact, Kellyanne Conway, the incoming senior advisor to Donald Trump in the White House, or White House counselor, I believe is going to be Kellyanne's title, and the former campaign manager, she was out on the Today Show earlier this week, and
Now, you listen to what he's saying.
We are in trouble.
This is a major, major problem that needs to be addressed by everyone. This is not about Donald Trump, so the people in the chat room, don't blame Trump for this. Trump didn't set this up. Trump is not, I told you earlier last year, Trump was just a figurehead in this situation. You have to look at that. But we're going to go right now. We're going to go and take a break, and we're going to pay some bills, and we'll be right back.
Taking a family of 5 to the amusement park can cost a small fortune.
Oh, yeah. So to save some money, we thought, hey, let's bring the amusement park to us.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right, step right up, young man. Are you ready to ride the Wacky Waterfall?
That's just the bathtub with the shower head running.
Nope, it's the Wacky Waterfall.
It's the shower, Dad.
Waterfall.
Wacky.
There's an easier way to save. To get a free rate quote, go to geico.com, then buy online, over the phone, or at your local Geico office.
We're here asking people from all over what they think of Lipton green tea. Let's hear what people from Texas have to say. How about China? Germany? How about people from the North Pole? Or Mars? What about mimes? Oh, right. People with their jaws wired shut? Oh. Yeah, a barbershop quartet. Oh, you guys are great. How about race car drivers? What about you, high school glee club, here on a field trip? Well, that settles it. It sounds like everyone loves the taste of Lipton green tea. With its protective antioxidants from real tea, it's not just good for you, it's to you. Lipton tea can do that.
Hey, Thirst, can I try out a few Coke Summer sound effects on you? Yes. Cool. You okay with this? Yes. And this? Yes. And what about this? Yes. Ha! Gotcha there, Thirst. That wasn't sound effects. That was a Coke. I'm no longer thirsty. You're so out of here. Coca-Cola, open happiness.
When you choose a great-tasting Miller Lite, you're choosing on taste, and that's the right choice, not the wrong choice, because right is way better than wrong. You don't try to do the wrong thing. Wrong on, brother? Back off, and I don't even know you. If someone asks you if everything's all wrong, ask them to pull your finger. Ever read the Bill of Wrongs? It was written by James Madison and John Sadams. Drawing a wrong triangle? Place this protractor at 90 degrees and sit on it. What's wrong around the corner? An 8-foot ex-con named Tiny, and he wants your wallet. That's wrong up your alley. Just like the drifter feeding moldy muffin stumps to his 13 hairless cats. Got a wrong hand man? I've got a cousin named Randall with clammy hands. The customer's always wrong? Well, that explains the waiter's creepy grin as I ate my toast. 2 wrongs do make a wrong. Am I wrong? Wrong. So don't make the wrong choice. Make the right choice. And choose on taste. Triple hops brewed Miller Lite.
AP Radio News. I'm Ed Donahue. The brother of the accused gunman at the Fort Lauderdale airport in Florida questions why Esteban Santiago was allowed to keep his gun after authorities knew the Iraq War veteran was increasingly paranoid and hearing voices. FBI Special Agent in Charge George Pirro says they have talked to Santiago and his family in search of a motive.
We've conducted roughly 175 witness interviews. We've recovered video, physical evidence, and we continue to pursue every investigative lead.
Pirro says they haven't ruled out the possibility of terrorism. 5 people were killed at the Fort Lauderdale airport. Parts of the South look more like the North today. There's snow and sleet and in some places blizzard-like conditions. North Carolina cities Burlington, Greensboro, and Roxborough received 8 inches or more of snow. There are power outages and crashes because of slick roads. The winter weather is also having an impact on New York.
The storm is forecast to dump up to 12 inches of snow on the east end of Long Island. Michael D'Angelo of Emporium Hardware in Sag Harbor says if you're waiting until the last minute to buy snow supplies, you may be out of luck. His store is already out of those brushes that remove snow from your car.
Weather is foul, and it's going to be a run on everything, and you need to be proactive. If you wait till the storm hits or you wait till the storm's over, you might end up with nothing.
D'Angelo says there may be a run on shovels by the end of the weekend, but he still has lots of salt to melt that snow. I'm Julie Walker.
Heavy rain is expected to start moving into parts of California and Nevada. The National Weather Service says the Truckee River in Nevada is expected to reach flood stage tomorrow afternoon in downtown Reno due to runoff from nearby mountains. 8 inches of rain is expected from Sonoma to Monterey counties in California. Mudslides are possible in some areas in the west. This is AP Radio News.
You're listening.
Carrie Fisher was laid to rest alongside her mother, Debbie Reynolds, at a private joint funeral at Forest Lawn Cemetery in Hollywood. Fisher's brother and Reynolds' son, Todd Fisher, says Carrie Fisher's ashes were carried in an urn shaped like a Prozac pill.
Carrie's favorite possession was a giant Prozac pill that she bought many years ago, a big pill, and she loved it. It was in her house, and Billy and I felt that it was where she would want to be. We couldn't find anything appropriate. Carrie would like that. It was her favorite thing, and so that's how you do it.
Billy refers to Fisher's daughter, Billy Lord. Carrie Fisher and Debbie Reynolds died a day apart last month. It's cold in Chicago, but it didn't stop thousands of people from waiting in line for hours to get a ticket to President Obama's farewell speech. The president will speak Tuesday night in his hometown, Chicago. Obama has described this as a chance to say thank you for this amazing journey. I'm Ed Donahue, AP Radio News.
STMK Radio.
And now, insurance-minded
You've been
speeches
tuned
from
into.
Geico.
It's a common expression. Don't look a gift horse in the mouth.
You're listening to Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 with your host, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone on STMK Radio 100. 100. 100.
Welcome back to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100.
Stop the madness.
I am your host, Sean L. We was talking about, before the break there, we was talking about the Affordable Care Act and how 30 million people may lose insurance immediately, and how there may be a major job loss under this. Now, Obamacare was set up in Medicare where the federal government keeps 10%, pay 100% of your copay, and then after 3 years they start cutting it down. Now, Courtney, what gets me about this is that they have nothing to replace it with. That's got to be shocking.
It's killing me.
You're going to take insurance from everybody. You're going to explode the healthcare system, and you have nothing to replace it with. You had 7 years to do it. Under the open health reform law, the program for adults were paid at 138% of the poverty level. So that means the person that was making $16,000 a year in the state and they went into Medicaid or whatever, that means the federal government paid over everything that you were getting.
Right.
Okay. And the ACA made changes to all the healthcare systems. Okay. So it wasn't something that wasn't touched by everybody. Emergency rooms were touched. Doctors was touched.
Everybody.
Medicaid was touched. And then when we go back to 2008, your Congress passed a bill preventing Medicare and Medicaid from negotiating prescription prices with prescription companies. That's why the prescription cost is so out of whack. So now you're going to tell somebody that they cannot get the subsidy and they cannot get health care on
you can't get nothing now
on the thing, and then you got to pay for all that. And the biggest kicker is that the coal workers in Kentucky who voted for the Obamacare situation,
man, they feeling the crunch.
They're not only are they feeling the crunch, they're getting ready to lose their
everything.
All the things that they went up with.
They're getting ready to lose everything they had.
And that's unbelievable right there. The coal miners was getting under the Affordable Care Act black lung disease
they were getting
benefits.
Black lungs disease coverage. Yeah,
right, coverage.
Benefits for
and if I died from black lungs, my wife
was good.
Was good. She would get the coverage.
Your family was covered.
Right.
Your immediate family and your grandchildren, so to speak, would have been covered. But at this point now, all of that is gone. It's all
well,
washed,
it's not all gone yet, but
it's about to
in 21 days it's going to be gone. And the problem with this is that not only is the pre-existing conditions not going to be covered, when you tell insurance companies that in 2 years you're going to get rid of all this and everything goes into the thing, you have to look at this as a business person, not knowing where your losses is going to be covered or where they're going to come from. You're going to put a plug. Any company will put a plug.
So believe that.
So you have to ask this question: if the Affordable Care Act, all their safe fails that were put in place were removed, what's going to happen now when they repeal it?
Economic collapse, no doubt.
And we're gonna go right to that thing right there about preconditions, kids staying on your parents' insurance till they're 26. That's money that the insurance companies are going to lose. So they cannot turn around knowing that they're going to lose this money. I do not see them staying in it.
And think about this, people. If these insurance companies start losing money, okay, we keep talking about this. We keep saying that the insurance companies are going to start to fold. They're going to start to pull out. They're going to start to walk away. When they start walking away, when they start losing money, when they start pulling out, whose money do you think they're pulling out with?
Well, the problem that I have, and but everybody needs to look at it, and this is what the show's about today, is telling everybody about the Affordable Care Act and why it was wrapped up into so many twines and everything that was touched by it, and it went through so many things. What's going to happen? Here go some things that you're going to immediately see, and this is something nobody's going to tell you, is that when they repeal it, they say, well, we're going to leave everything in place. All the insurance things are good until 2018, 2000, Okay,
That's what they're telling you.
that's what they tell you. 2018 is only 12 months away. So you have to look
Think
at this.
about that.
If you got a preconditions and you're being treated now, and you're paying $100 or more for prescriptions, what do you think's going to happen when your prescriptions jump up on it?
That's going to double. That's going to triple. It's going to almost triple.
What's going to happen to when your kids can't stay on your insurance policies? Because insurance companies, it's going to cost you astronomical prices if you try to keep this insurance. So what's going to happen is you're going to have to drop the insurance. That's what's going to happen. And the bigger kicker is that the people who voted this in knew this, and more Republicans are on Obamacare and in the Affordable Care Act than it was ever reported. If you remember reportings going back to 2015 and 16, everybody thought it was poor people and income people in the inner cities and all that, and everybody was trying to get a free ride. But now it comes to find out, you got a lot of retirees, first responders, a lot of retirees from Ford factories and all that, and Medicaid and Medicare. All them people came on, and you have a lot of middle income class people there also. And you have coal miners that worked in the coal mine that's on there. Okay,
Right.
now this is the thing that everybody has to realize. Okay, and people are really shocked at this because when the appeal goes into effect, insurance company is going to go out. Now, when Obama refused to allow United Healthcare to take over the insurance industry like they wanted to, they jumped out of the Affordable Care Act because they couldn't take over. So now we have to look at this going back into something that we was talking about earlier, and everybody has to ask this question. The Republicans are getting ready to explode the healthcare system, okay? And when that happens, everybody's going to be affected by it, and it's going to cost Americans buku money. But you have to ask yourself, if the healthcare system explodes, what's going to follow? Are we missing the signs from 2006 and 2007? And that's a question that we have to ask everybody right here on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. In the chat room, everybody's asking me the question, and they asking, okay, what's going to happen? How can we stop this? Well, guess what? You can't stop the appeal of
It's
the
too late to
Affordable,
stop it now.
right, or the Affordable Care Act, because to put anything in to sign a bill, remember I said legislation, you need 60 votes. Okay?
We don't have them.
There's no way that when the Republicans appeal the Affordable Care Act and Donald Trump signs it into law, there's no way for any Democrat to stop it. So it's going to
We didn't
happen.
have it then, and we certainly don't have it now.
Right, and it's
'Cause
going.
we have no control.
And it's not going to stop. And so you have to look at this. You look at all the jobs. We're looking at a possible explosion of 30 million jobs lost in the healthcare industry and insurance industry if they appeal the Affordable Care Act and do not replace it. Now the kicker thing here is replacing it with something that will keep kids on their parents' insurance, keep people with pre-existing conditions, keep the black lung benefits and all that. And that's going to be hard to do. And it's going to be hard for insurance companies knowing that in 2 years, they're going to not receive any government help, and they're going to bite that bullet. And I don't see that happening right there, Doug. I really don't see
No,
that.
it's not going to happen. It's going bye-bye. If you look at it, I'm looking at the Lombardi report right now, and I went back to, because like you said, you got to go back and look at this stuff in order to catch up to where we at. And it was saying that the unemployment rate was at 4.6. And after he crunched all the numbers and did all the figures that he had to do, it comes out to the fact that the unemployment rate is actually at 9.3, not the 4.6 or the 4.2 that they was telling us it was at, because it was covering up, because they was sugarcoating it. And like you said, once it comes down the pipe, Once this thing comes down the pike, uh, the Republicans that voted for the repeal are going to be hurting. The middle class are going to be hurting, and the coal miners certainly are already hurting and going to be hurting even worse. So where did that leave people that are living below the poverty line, out in the cold once again?
Well, what's going to happen is we're going to see, as we've seen in 2009, 2010, we're going to see more emergency rooms close across the country. More hospitals are going to be closing across the country because when the hospitals have to, by law, treat people with injuries and give them treatment,
they won't have to do that anymore. And people, you gotta understand, when homicide and terrorist acts are at an all-time high. When you have trauma centers that are closing down, where they no longer, where they can just actually close their doors and don't have to let you in anymore.
And that's a big problem that we have to ask ourselves.
Huge.
Now, I'm going to go into something right here that we was going to piggyback right off of the Affordable Care Act. And like I said, on our show, Stop the Madness, Keep It 100.
That's what we do.
We go into Intertrain. We're nationally across the web. We in 19 internet cities, and we are up on Facebook Live, Twitter, Instagram, SoundCloud, Mixcloud, Snapchat. So we talk about today's issues, and we try to educate. That's our thing, educating the community so the community can be aware and make better decisions the next time they go out to make a vote and everything.
If you're armed with the proper tools, then you can go out and do what you need to do.
And we have right now some serious issues coming down the pipe. And I don't care if you're a Republican, you're a Democrat, you're independent, you for the Green Party, you for the Democrat. A lot of Republicans, my friends in the chat room and them is listening, and they're telling me about how their insurance bills were so high and it went up, and Obama lied, you can keep your doctor. That's all fun and good, but now everybody's going to tap on it. The Affordable Care Act needs to be adjusted. It needs to be done properly. It needs to be some quirks done to it, and there's some improvements.
It needed to be tweaked. It needed to be fixed. But now it's getting to a point. It's getting ready to get to a point in about 21 days where it's going to be completely and totally unfixable, people.
Once they appeal it, it's going to explode the system, and that's going to really go. Now, you're talking about saving 800 jobs at Carrier. And you go back to Sprint talking about saving 5,000 jobs, and then Ford talking about building a plant. But when you talk about immediately a possibility of 30 million jobs in the healthcare and system and around and affected by that, you may lose 1,400 jobs. Don't mean anything when it comes to that.
We losing jobs right now.
And if you look at Sprint, just go back to the Sprint there because we can ready to come in.
Point and case.
Sprint's talking about they got 5,000 jobs, but they talked about nothing about the company reducing the job rate by 8,000 in December 2013, and they only employ about 30,000 people in the workforce right now, and that's in the labor force and retail sales and customer service. That's not in the foam industry. So you're looking at smoke and mirrors right there. Carrier, they only saved 800 jobs, but those jobs wasn't leaving anyway, and they closed 2 other factories and went down to Mexico. And this is another problem when you go into the jobs, is that Carrier is a subdivision of United Technologies. So United Technologies get $65 billion a year from the American taxpayers as a defense contractors. Why are they sending any jobs to Mexico? This is why we should be outraged. The problem here is that we're not outraged for what we should be outraged. Russia interfered in our democracy. Okay, we can get around that, okay, because Hillary Clinton was a bad candidate anyway, and that was something that they did for 30 years on her. So we can get around the election. Forget the election, but Russia...
The election was over with.
Right. When Russia's interfering and hacking into our systems, what's going to happen when they hack into the electrical grid and bring it down, okay? It's going to be too late then to try to say, let's do something about it. And then when you look at the United Technology and what's going on in the movement of jobs and everything, it is very, very scary. and it goes into what our second hour, what we're going to talk about and what everybody else is talking about, but nobody wants to acknowledge it, and it's really scary. Are we going into a financial collapse? Are we missing the danger signs that we missed in 2007 and 2006?
If you're not paying attention, yes, we are.
Everybody must understand this. Immigration. Trump is talking about deporting 25 million people. He's talking about putting $55 million on our already high budget, okay, and deficit that the Republicans been yelling about because Obama had to do for the recovery and the stimulation. He's going to do it for a wall. Okay?
For a wall.
For a wall. So you have to ask.
So that wall that he promised he gonna build it off the people's back.
He's going to build it off the American taxpayer. Mexican ain't paying for anything, and anybody who thought Mexican was going to pay for it is not Mexico, it's me.
Okay,
That's who's paying for it.
Anybody out there that's listening right now, if you got a job, you are a taxpayer. How many more taxes can you afford to pay?
But this is what we want to do, okay? Because we're going to open up this part of the show to the phone lines. So give us a call at 1-866-484-7865. Come on the air and tell us what you want to tell us. Talk to us about that. We're going to open up the phone lines, and we want you to call us. We want you to call us down and call on the phone lines 1-866-484-STMK, 1-866-484-7865. Give us a call. Give us a call and let us know what you think what's going to happen and how it's happening. So we're going to do this right here on this part while we're going into the second hour of our show. We're going to talk about the looming signs of a collapse of our financial system. And I want to say this right here. The Dow, when the Dow was skyrocketing back in 2008, everybody thought that was good, but that was one of the biggest warning signs of the Great Recession is starting to show as its head rise again. But it doesn't mean everybody need to panic, but we need to be looking at what's going on. The Libor or London Interbank Offer Rate is what everybody needs to be looking at. This measures the interest rate which banks lend to each other at different durations, and its sharp jump was a heads up of the financial crisis in 2008. Okay, an increase in the Libor or the type of thinking that goes in here that means that the banks see their fellow financial partners as a risk. They're going to raise their rates, and that's a good sign right there. The rate spiked too high in 2008 and 2009 and in 2007, and that was during the financial crisis. And then we have to look at what caused the financial crisis and the looming crisis right now that we're looking at. So let's go back to 2007, 2008. The price of oil was dropping.
Yep.
Okay. Remember that oil was going down,
and now it's going back up.
Right. Well, we're gonna go back to 2008. The price of oil was dropping. Then we had major retail stores closing. Okay. The housing market, subprime lending was going out the window. And for everybody who don't know about the subprime lending, that was banks buying up property and putting them in bundles and selling them to other banks that for high prices, and they wasn't even worth a nickel. Okay. Mm-hmm. Then you have to look at the other things that was coming on, a weak and fraudulent underwriting practices. And in 2007 and 2008, we had predatory lending. Mm-hmm. And then the biggest thing that the Bush administration did was deregulations. Okay.
Oh, boy.
Remember deregulations, because we're going to come back to that in a few minutes when we asked ourselves right now in 2017 what is going on in our housing markets. Okay. And we don't have to go back that far. Okay. We don't have to go back to pass anything. We can always look at right here what we're doing. Okay, go to 2001 when the Republicans had control of the Senate and the House. They lifted the rules and restrictions on everything, coal, oil, everything. In 2007, we was losing 750,000 jobs per month. Per month. The auto industry went down and went under.
And had to be bailed out.
The banks were failing from their lending practices, giving people loans that couldn't afford it. Giving car loans, keeping people in cars that they was going back to repossess, and the banks had to take the loss.
I have to say that I was one of those victims back during the great housing collapse, I call it, because these people, I kept telling these people the whole time. I kept telling these people, I can't afford this house. I can't afford. They practically shoved this loan and that house down my throat.
Not only that, you have to look at this, Doug. In the housing bubble burst, we was losing 1,000 homes per month that was being foreclosed on.
I remember.
Okay. Everybody,
mine was one of them.
Everybody said last month and last year during the elections they wasn't better off than they was in 2007 and 2008. Did you just understood what I just told you was happening in 2008? You gonna tell me in 2016 you wasn't better off then? Let me even go back into this a little bit further, okay?
They put a Band-Aid on a gaping wound.
Right. The right to work laws came up all over the place, okay? Union busting and companies running overseas in NAFTA so they don't have to pay union wages and pay the high price it costs here in the United States. This is the problem that TPT and everybody else is going to have to understand is going to happen here. If you force companies to come into America and stay here and do not give them the tax breaks that they claim they need, like Carrier stole from Trump and the taxpayers in Indiana, guess what's going to happen? You're not going to be able to afford that car.
That's right.
You're not going to be able to afford it because the companies are saying we cannot afford union wages. Now, you have your law enforcement officers screaming, we don't get paid enough. You have your teachers screaming, we don't get paid enough. You got your firefighters saying they don't get paid enough. Okay? How you not going to pay the people that affects you daily, but you're going to pay somebody
that gives you luxury.
Right, it gives you luxury.
It gives you things you don't necessarily have to have. Things you don't necessarily. Everybody needs transportation. Everybody needs transportation, but you don't have to have the best of the best, and you don't have to have huge corporations that's getting these huge tax breaks just to be able to sell you an affordable car. They can make an affordable car.
This is Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 here on STMK Radio 100, and we're going to go right back into what we was talking about here. If you fast forward, now you heard me tell you all this stuff, the signs, so we're going to go back. The signs for 2007 and 2006 crisis that
are a sure sign of the things to
come. And it was subprime lending market over its head. Growth of housing bubble and drop in home sales and prices dropping. Easy credit conditions. Weak and fraudulent underwriting practices, predatory lending, and deregulations. Now, what we're going to do right here, we're going to come right up to 2017, January 7, 2017.
And right now, today, you got job loss going on right now today. Right here in this city, you got a major food chain that's shutting down 2 stores. And guess what? Hundreds of jobs being lost.
Well, forget the majors, the change. Guess this change that you got. You got Macy's and Sears closing, Kmart,
Macy's, Sears, JCPenney, Kmart, and Giant Eagle.
That's correct. Closing down stores
thousands
right now,
of
and
jobs.
you're losing thousands of jobs. And you know what? Nobody's saying anything about it because guess what? It's not good press news.
No.
You don't hear the press talking about this right now.
Come on, man. They still talking about the Mariah Carey thing.
Oh, yeah, we're going to talk about that
and
also.
Kim Kardashian making her what is that? Her Instagram, Snapchat comeback.
Now, this is a sign that I want everybody to go back. And I want you to pick up a book and I want you to go back and look at this because you know what? We're going to educate right here. Okay? A sign that there's a problem looming. You have to understand this is that most of your 401ks and all that, went back into investments. It didn't lock this stuff out and try to sucker. So people right now, if you retired, you need to start looking at your 401ks and see what you are investing your money in and try to pull that money out of investment and put in secure thing, because bond new bonds are being brought up at an all-time high. And that's a good sign that there's a problem. Recently, rally in bond prices is a warning sign. And note that bond marketers have improved back into predicting a doom and gloom economical problem.
indeed.
It points out that the prices for the U.S. Treasury bonds are surging despite the fact that the instrument that you're buying on that bond is not getting the interest rate or payback that you're
In
supposed
other
to get.
words, it's not worth the paper that it's actually being printed on.
And you only be getting back less than 2%. So when investors start buying bonds, they're buying bonds for security. You have to understand that. So go into your S&P market, look at the Dow, look what's going on. The housing market prices right now is dropping, and the housing sales has dropped way below 2007, 2008. That is a looming sign that our financial system is in a crisis.
You want to sign, folks? Look at the commercials that's on TV. They're now having infomercials where they're actually selling off silver and gold.
And we just talked about this. Store closings is the second sign. Largest numbers of retail stores are closing, and large numbers of retail jobs are vanishing in the retail Acropolis market. That means continuously in your headlines. Stop looking at Fox News, CNN. Start picking up papers. Start looking at reading at your local level. Start getting into other
Get into
New
your
York
community,
Times. Get into the community.
Get to the library.
Okay.
Get
And
into your community papers, your small print newspapers. Looking at Fox News, looking at CNN, looking at those people. They only gonna give you the big show. They only gonna give you what they want you to see. The right hand doing something where you can't see what the left hand is doing. People, wake up, pay attention.
now you look at this, the closing chain is in the stores is closing 388 stores, or 60% of their retail stores. That's right there. How many jobs were saved at Carrier? 800. Sprint talking about they bringing back 5,000. That right there, you're talking about close to 10,000 full-time workers is about to lose their jobs.
Gone.
Macy's is closing 14 department stores. That's 2,200 people losing their jobs immediately.
J.C. Penney.
Outco, a 113-year-old chain that operates 198 drugstores, is closing completely. That's putting 4,000 employees out of a job. Okay, 4,000. Okay, this is something that's not being talked about, that is being allowed to take place. And guess what the state is doing? The states are right now, the state of Ohio governor is saying they may have an economic collapse. We may be going into a recession in Ohio, Alabama, Georgia, because they have cut so much money. There's no more money to come into the states from nowhere, and the cities that's in those states are also going to suffer. So if the state is cutting money and they're losing all these jobs and income, guess what's next going to happen? The cities are going to have to start laying off. Okay?
That's right. Trickle down economics.
Trickle down economics, Republican style. So whether you're Republican, Democrat, Independent, everybody's going to be touched in the next couple of days, in the next month. Sears, which own Kmart,
Yep.
they're planning to close 116 stores. Okay? 116
and
stores.
They're eliminating the Craftsman division.
But you don't understand this, people. That's 5,600 jobs
Gone.
I just
Bye-bye.
told you in that little circle right there, we're talking anywhere from 10 to 16,000 jobs eliminated within the next 30 days. Okay, so when they talk about unemployment, somebody just gave a unemployment quote from 4.7, and there's actually 9.7.
It was 4.6, and it's now actually 9.3. They keep sugarcoating it and saying, well, it went down. It was 4.6, and then it supposedly went down to 4.2. But when you do the homework and look at the Lombardi report, all you got to do is go online, look at the Lombardi report,
And then,
go to the library, look at the Lombardi report.
but then you have to look at that too. That they're taking people off the roads. There's no longer looking for work.
Right.
Also, you're still unemployed, but you're no longer
You're
looking.
no longer looking for work because it's not out there. There's no jobs to be found.
And then before I even go any down anywhere else, how can we forget, okay, the subprime lending practices making a comeback? Everybody's driving a brand new car
How is this possible?
that they can't even afford, okay? That practice is giving loans to people who are
Crazy
high
88.
risk and perhaps cannot pay them back. Many experts believe the prime lending mortgage pending. That's what created the situation in
And
the beginning.
The sad part about that is they tell you now. I mean, you got all these different commercials, and if you do the research and do the homework, these people are telling you, you got a repossession, you got an eviction, it don't matter. If you make $200-300 a week, we can put you in a brand new car. How is this possible?
But let me say this. Let me say this to shock everybody. In 2013, estimate 27% of all auto loans were subprime loans. 27%. That means 27% of the people who got an auto loan not only couldn't afford it, they was going to default within 30 to
And I
45
was just getting
days.
ready to say that. I bet you that at least you said what was the percentage?
27%.
And I bet you at least 12.4% within a couple of days went right into default.
Remember the Dodd-Frank regulations that was put on the mortgage companies, okay? Wells Fargo in 2015 issued 35% of subprime home loans, which are now in foreclosure. We ain't talking about all of the loans that they issued and what they did, but
We're talking about the housing loans.
35% of all the stuff they did are now in foreclosure. 35%, people. That means that they was issuing bad mortgages to people who could not afford it, and now 35% of them are in foreclosure. Okay, and then you come right here to 2017, subprime lending. Growth of the housing bubble is starting to slow. Easy credit condition, predatory lending, and weak and fraudulent underwriting practices. Okay,
It's taking place again.
Taking place again, and the same thing that happened in 2006 and 2007 is facing us again. Now, the question here is, what's going to happen come January 21st when all the deregulations are wiped out?
Oh, it's going to get super ugly.
That's the problem right there.
It's going to get super ugly.
When all of the regulations are wiped out, what are we going to do there? What's going to happen with the banking crisis, okay? When they drop Dodd-Frank and we go into our sub-industry of Asian financial crisis, when we talk about China and Japan and the world market. You're not going to hear this on Morning Joe. You're not going to hear this on MSNBC. You're not going to hear this on
right
Fox.
here on
You're not going to hear it on
100.
CNN. This is Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. We talk about the problems. We ask people to call in, and the people in the chat room. We are a web show, so I understand that everybody stays in the chat room to talk to us and everything, but you're not going to hear this even
Anywhere else.
come down the line. And are we prepared? This is the question. Are we prepared
Get ready,
for
get
a
ready.
second looming financial crisis if it explodes?
I think not.
What's going to happen right now, we're going to take a break, and then we're going to come right back because we want to talk about some of the issues that's coming up on some of the hearings next week that we want to talk about the Congress ethic hearing on the Attorney General George Sessions, and we also want to talk about one of Donald Trump's pick, who is for Secretary of State, who has Russian ties that right now did business with Russia, and we want to know from the chat room what you think about that with the Russia situation, that he put a person in charge that has ties with Putin. We're going to come right back after this break. Stay with us. This is Stop the Madness. Keep it 100 on Radio STMK Radio 100.
A great business needs a stunning website. And with Wix.com, you can do it all by yourself. Wix.com makes it easy to look amazing online, no matter what type of business you're in. Show off your images in a beautiful gallery. Grow your contact list and get all your social media in one place, just the way you want. Your customers are going to love it. So, what are you waiting for? Show the world what you can do. Go to Wix.com and create your stunning website today. It's easy and free.
Geico presents sharing versus oversharing. Earlier this week, Claire Tippins shared a princess nickname generator, 3 pictures of her dog wearing a tutu, and 2 online quizzes, including what candy is your dream castle made of? Claire, your sharing has tipped the sugar scale and turned into oversharing. But have no fear, princess. Geico has something worth sharing with your internet kingdom, like how you could save hundreds on your car insurance just by visiting geico.com. No magic wand required. Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
AP Update, I'm Ed Donahue. We're getting details about some of the victims of the airport shooting in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. One of the 5 killed was from Iowa. He and his wife were getting ready to take a cruise. The wife was injured at the airport. Another victim is being described as a devout Catholic woman who was the life of the party and who had lived in Georgia. FBI Special Agent in Charge George Pirro says investigators have talked to suspect Esteban Santiago's family. They're still trying to determine a motive.
At this point, we are continuing to look at the terrorism angle in regards to the potential motivation behind this attack.
Eyewitness Mark Lee says it looked like a random shooting.
He wasn't targeting male, female, black, white, or anything of that nature. It was just whoever happened to be in his walking distance.
Lee was on NBC's Today Show. Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport is open again for commercial flights. There were significant delays yesterday and cancellations. AP Update, I'm Ed Donahue.
We're here asking people from all over what they think of Lipton green tea. Let's hear what people from Texas have to say. How about China? Germany? How about people from the North Pole? Or Mars? What about mimes? Oh, right. People with their jaws wired shut? Yeah, a barbershop quartet. Oh, you guys are great. How about race car drivers? What about you, high school glee club, here on a field trip? Well, that settles it. It sounds like everyone loves the taste of Lipton green tea. With its protective antioxidants from real tea, it's not just good for you, it's to you. Lipton tea can do that.
At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Check out Reverend Bill Miller's Bible study radio broadcast live on the new STMK Radio 100 at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time and 7 p.m. Central Standard Time. Please listen in and support him as he joins the realm of broadcasting to encourage believers and offer the comfort of God to others across the airwaves. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100. Also, feel free to contact him for prayer, counseling, and conversation at brobill9608@yahoo.com. That's BROBILL 9608@yahoo.com. At the Table with Reverend Bill Miller on STMK Radio 100.
You've been tuned in to Stop the Madness, keeping it 100 on STMK Radio 100. And now back to your host one more time, Sean L., Let, and Tone the Stone.
Welcome back to Stop the Madness. Keep
Welcome
it
back,
100.
y'all.
We was talking about earlier, and I want everybody to understand this. We was talking earlier, and we was in the chat room, and we was talking about what was going on and how it was going on, and we were talking about the Affordable Care Act. And for those who just joining us, especially from SoundCloud, we'd like to welcome you here, Facebook, Snapchat, and Twitter, and all our social media accounts. But we want to go back into also what's coming up here in a couple of days. In 7 days, around January 23rd, 24th, they're going to start hearings for Attorney General and the Secretary of State. And Jeff Sessions, Senator Jeff Sessions, who fought against equality his whole life, wants to be your Attorney General. And that should be a good hearing right there. The Senate Congress Ethics Committee is saying that he left out a lot of his resume, and he put himself down on some of the top historical laws that was passed for minorities, and that should be a big thing. And everybody should pay attention to that, because that's going to let you know where the Republicans are coming from when they start hearing these people and the things. But now we're going to turn to some local issues right here in Cleveland, Ohio.
Oh boy, here we go.
And we're going to talk about something right here. We're going to go to the NFL though.
Oh man.
So Doug, let me ask you a question. Today is Wild Card Saturday.
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it is.
My Cleveland Browns went 1-15.
We won, man. Come on.
The question is, I'm going to ask everybody in the chat room, and everybody's laughing right now. Should they blow up the team? Should we go get us a number one quarterback?
No.
And should we just get rid of everybody and start off from scratch?
No. I think. Now, this is my opinion. Y'all can say what y'all want to say. I don't care, because y'all can say what y'all want to say, but you can't put your hands on me. Listen, we on the right track. We on the right track. We need to stop imploding every time we have a losing season. Everybody out there that's in the chat room, and I know the chat room, I know them keyboards is dropping off.
Wait a minute, what do you say?
Oh, no. Did you say that?
Yeah, he did. Oh, let's get ready to rumble. But listen, we got to stop imploding, people. We on the right track. You have to, first of all, understand that the Cleveland Browns is the youngest team in the NFL. Yes, I said it. Yes, it's true. When Art Modell did what he did, we all know that story. He took the team, he took them out of here, he ran with them, and we got reinstated. We fought for the first time. We fought, and we got our team. We kept our team, and we kept our colors. Now we on the right track. We done cleared out the front office, And every year we keep going back into the draft trying to get quarterback after quarterback after quarterback.
So
we got quarterbacks.
So where you telling us to go?
Let's build a line around the quarterback.
Okay, no.
Let's build the defensive
well,
line. Let's get a new defensive coordinator.
Let me ask you this. Let me ask you this question here. If that boy beats Alabama, you mean to tell me we're gonna leave him on the table? Come on, we got to bring him to Cleveland.
You got me on that one.
I'm gonna ask the chat room.
You know what? If that boy beat Roll Tide, if that boy go out there and if he go out there and he beat Bama, we gotta pull him in.
Okay,
but at the same time, we cannot keep imploding our team.
But look at this. He went out there and I hate to say this,
demolished them.
He demolished OS. I mean, he demolished OS. He made OSU look like
man. You know what? I got a son that is an Ohio State student. I am so proud. I am so proud of little
Ohio State
He's
Buckeyes.
You know what? The OHIO, I'm still behind him 100%, but I can't even call him the Ohio State anymore this year because I mean, man, we got whomps.
So, my question again: if that boy beat,
we gotta go get him.
If he beat Bama,
we gotta go get him.
So, because Monday, I think he's gonna beat Bama.
We gotta go get him. But we gotta, you know what? And y'all can say what y'all want to say. We gotta keep RG3 too. We gotta let that boy play. I mean, come on,
wait
man.
Wait a minute. I got on my throwback Indians. I mean, my throwback Redskins jersey. But I'm gonna tell you right now, RG3 got to hit the road. I don't want him here no more. I think technically this is what I think we need to do. We need to go get Clemson's quarterback.
Okay.
Bring him here because he's going to give us some of what RG3 can do. He got a good arm.
Okay.
And he knows how to win big games. And he's going to beat Bama. I'm putting that on him. He's going to beat Bama.
But can he perform like that at the NFL level?
I think he can. But
see, that's the whole thing. We keep thinking that we know what's right. We got to, first of all, man, we got to build this team up. That's what we got to do.
Well,
I'm sorry. We got to build
this
team
we got
up.
everybody with the team.
Now, we pull that quarterback in. I'm not saying don't go get him. I'm saying go get him.
What's been our worst position?
What's been our worst position?
The
line.
No, but who been failing us also?
The line.
Our quarterbacks couldn't throw
the line.
20
Man,
yards.
come on. Look at the line. Every quarterback, we got about how many quarterbacks? We got about 200 quarterbacks got hurt this season.
Oh, yeah.
This season.
Well, we're going to talk about that.
The quarterback can't quarterback without a line.
But let's ask this question right here, okay, because it's wild card weekend, okay? Raiders and Texans. Everybody in the chat room's going with the Raiders. I was a Raiders man, but guess what?
I don't know. Them Texans, man.
But they got two rookies starting for the first time in playoffs. Never happened before.
I'm going to say this. On any given Sunday.
Well,
any given Sunday.
I'm going to give Al his just due. I think that the Raiders are going to take that. I'm going to get it down. But this is another question right here. Now, this team was playing good in the beginning of the year, and for all my sports fans out there and everybody that was calling and begging us to talk about sports, we're going to be talking about it, and we're going to be doing this.
Can we just talk about the Cavs and be done with this?
No, the Cavs is bad. The Detroit Lions and the Seattle Seahawks, okay? Detroit Lions are playing good, but they lost the last 3 games against top quality playoff teams. So you're going to go with the Lions.
Them Hawks are going to choke. Them Seahawks are going to choke, man.
Okay, tomorrow, and I got people here smiling, and this is go out to Ant Harper, the black and gold guy right here, the Dolphins and the Steelers. Is the Steelers going to go ahead and work them over and go
I
home?
hate to do it, man. I hate to tuck my tail because I am so not a Steelers fan. But them boys is, man, I mean, you can't count them out.
But this is the first time the 3 Bs are going to be playing in the game this year also.
But, man, that's that black and gold. You cannot count them boys out. Not this season.
Roethlisberger, Le'Veon Bell.
It's I can't even go there. I can't even go there because some people calling that boy some bad names. But he's a machine, and you just cannot count. I am so not a Steelers fan. I go back. I mean, you know, I personally, I went to football camp years and years ago, and I'm still friends to this day with some of the older Cleveland Brown guys that played. I still know Greg Pruitt. I still know a bunch of those guys. I ain't gonna put them all out there, but I know a bunch
Reggie
of them guys.
Rucker.
Reggie Rucker, Gerald Irons, you know, and I still talk with
The
them
great
guys,
Jim
man.
Brown.
The great that was like my idol. Although I never, I have not had the opportunity.
You know
at
the
this point
Dog
to meet him.
Pound.
But I mean, man, I go back to the Dog Pound day. I
Hanford
go back to
Dixon.
I go back to the rivalry days when we would literally fight in the stadium.
Frank
when the boys
Minifield.
came here. But you cannot count out the black and gold this season because I mean, them boys, man, they beast.
Let me ask you this question to everybody in the chat room. Remember Turkey Joe Jones, what
Too
he did to
tall
Raw? Turkey Jones. What he did to Bradshaw.
Terry Bradshaw. He left him laying on the field.
Doing the shake.
twitching. He
Yes.
was twitching everywhere.
So
I remember that game
okay,
just
so
like it was
so
yesterday.
everybody going with the Steelers on that one.
Got
Let,
to.
Let's go down right here to the Giants and the Packers. Can Eli finally get himself together? You know he
what?
got
I
2
think
Super
he can.
Bowls.
I think he can.
But can he beat the man? Double check. The Packers are an awesome team in the playoffs.
They are.
With
They are.
Jody Nelson, and then they took Montgomery and put him at running back.
But on any given Sunday.
Yeah, but you're talking about the man, the main man.
You know what? I'm going to have to go with the Packs on that one.
Okay, then next week you got Atlanta and the Patriots. So the Steelers will probably be going to the Patriots.
Yeah. Ain't no probably to that one. Ain't I mean, some cats you don't want to root for them, but I mean, you gotta give them they just do.
But what about let's look at this right here, the Dallas Cowboys. They're
Cowboys and the Chiefs.
Well, the Cowboys have a bye, but they're up. You know, they got the young rookie from Ohio State, Zeke, and then they got Dap doing his thing. Okay, and I don't think they should have benched them and arrested them. I think they should have played them and just pulled them out.
They should have.
We see if that hurt them. And then you know, right now, the Chiefs got the bye, but the Chiefs, when you come back down with the Falcons, if you look at it, the Giants and the Packers and the Seahawks, the Legion of Doom is going to be a something they have to deal with. Everybody's going to have to deal with the Legion of Boom, okay? Because the Legion of Boom is not going to go away easy.
No, they ain't going to go away easy. Ain't going to be no easy win, baby. Ain't going to be no easy win. But they got to get there. They got to get there.
Well, I don't see you saying Eli going to take out Seattle. That's a game that I don't know.
I said the Lions gonna take the Seattle.
Yeah, you said the Lions are gonna take Seattle, and what about the Giants and the Packers? Because
see, there you had to come back. I got to go with the Packs on that one.
Right,
I got to
right. I had to come back with that one because I thought you was talking about Eli was going to do something.
I'm gonna have to run with the Pack. Eli deserves his just due, but I got to run with the Pack on that one.
Because all for my sports fan and for
he'll be sitting with his
but
brother.
for Darnell, if you traveling on the road, we got some truckers out there traveling on the road. So Darnell, if you traveling on the road and you listening to the show, we did talk some sports and we got off politics just for you.
Just for you, bro.
And we waiting to really
so you
do
can
this.
Drive safely.
Yeah, you can drive safely
Rest
now.
easy. And we gave you your little sports out there.
We're gonna do our yell out to the Cavaliers also, because you know we can't forget about the Cavaliers. But
how about Kyrie the other night?
But Kyrie is just doing his thing, and I think Kyrie right now is getting ready to take the team over.
And yeah, he getting ready to take the team over because this is his time of year. I mean, y'all, I no offense to my boy Bron. I've always been a LeBron fan. I always will be a LeBron fan. We go back. We got a little bit of history from back when he was in high school and now what. And Bron, I ain't trying to take nothing from you, bro. But this is Kyrie's time of year. This is Kyrie's thing. Although LeBron is gonna be playing like a maniac come the playoffs, plus the fact that we get ready to get that cat from Atlanta, man. We get ready to get another guard up in here.
If we get him, that's going to be the thing that I see with the Cavaliers right now. Golden State has did a stack the deck. They did another.
They tried to stack the deck.
They did a Pat Riley on it. They did a Pat Riley.
They just got their
deck.
behinds whooped last night, Steph Curry had 41 points, and man, who was they playing? They were down. The team they was playing was down by 24 points. Came back in the fourth quarter. And
Well, the Cavs came back and put it on them too.
oh yeah, I mean that man, that's a no-brainer there.
If
that's
we
a
can keep
no-brainer.
now, I'm gonna go back into the chat room because everybody's sickling me and they asked me. And Doug Million here, the man holding up the world.
Look.
We can ready to put him on the spot right now. We can ready to put him
in the
on
funny seat. I'm in the hot seat.
We gonna put him on the spot right now because I know all you sports fans here. See, because I already made my pick. I made my pick, and I told y'all earlier. So this isn't the thing right here. So Doug,
Cavs repeat.
Come. No, we're not even gonna go. We leaving there. We leaving there because I'm gonna bring you back around or something. Monday, January 9th at 8 p.m. Something's getting ready to happen, and it may be history. The first college team that takes control of the college championship for multiple years and seasons. And we have an underdog team wearing orange.
Well, you know what? I'm that cat that root for the underdog.
So you're saying between Alabama and Clemson. You're coming over. You coming over there with Sean L. You coming over with me?
Clemson all day.
Because that's gonna be your
Clemson
number one
all
pick.
Day.
The number one pick. I'm gonna say this right here.
Tide rolling out.
The number one pick will be the quarterback for the Clemson Tide.
We gotta go get him.
He upsets Alabama for the championship.
All nonsense aside.
Because if you
we gotta go get
if you seen the game last year, and this is a repeat of last year, you know that, right?
Yes, sir.
They only won, and I think the refs kind of gave it to them or the last play.
It was kind of like that one Ohio State game,
right?
Where the refs just kind of like
let it go,
almost a little bit gave it to them just
right.
a little bit,
right? And Alabama, I think Alabama is a powerhouse and good team, but I think Clemson has that nucleus, and they're gonna take it.
All respect due to you Bama fans out there. I know y'all did whatever. Clemson gonna do the thing this year.
Well, I'm gonna tell Bama right now, and I ain't even giving you no respect. I think Clemson gonna lay it. They put it on my Buckeyes, and I think they're gonna put it on the Bama.
They gonna wear your
so
head out.
We're gonna go a little bit too because for everybody, look, we like to do a little entertainment news and everything.
Oh, here we go.
Because we are
STMK Radio 100.
This is Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with your host, Sean L. Sitting in the funny chair with me today is Doug Million. And we can ready to put him on the spot right here. Everybody was talking about the meltdown, the big meltdown.
Dude, I'm going to tell you like this, and here I go getting myself in trouble again. I am not a Mariah Carey fan. Okay, I like her music. I'm not taking nothing away from the girl. She can sing. She's a bombshell. She's a bum. She's a bum. She's a bum. She messed up, and it ain't just that she messed up. It ain't just that it's the way she did it. She didn't even care.
She said she was going to let the audience sing.
She didn't even whatever. Whatever, man. You know what? You can take, and y'all can quote me on this because I already put it out there on Twitter, and you can follow it at Twitter. Man,
go get his Twitter page. Hey, all you Mariah Carey fans, I want y'all to get the Twitter page and go to Doug Million thing and troll him.
Doug at Doug Million 1. Check it out. You can take Ronda Rousey. You can take Mariah Carey. And you could take what's her name? Kim messed up again. And what's that other one? You can take all four of them broads. You can put them in the same suitcase and push them off in the middle of the ocean, man. Because Kim Kardashian's come back. She's still in the limelight from her little sister because her little sister was getting all that play now, and she can't have that because she just like her mama. Then Mariah's scary, man. She ain't nothing but a man eater like the Kardashians. She got to go. Ronda Rousey, she'll never be a champ again. Man, Mariah Carey, she should be ashamed of herself. How she gonna try to stand up, and then she gonna try to stand up and put it on Dick Clark.
Dick Clark failed her. He did fail her.
Dick Clark didn't fail her. She failed herself.
No, Dick Clark failed her because he
Whatever, man.
He was supposed to
Whatever.
have that. He didn't supposed to pump
after
that
she
in there.
did what she did to my boy Nick Cannon, she can chalk it, man.
Wait a minute. See, everybody in the chat room, right here in the chat room, they talking about when she was walking down the stairs and she told the guys was going to pick her up.
That day wasn't going to pick her big self up.
And she told him, just walk me down. That's what they said in the chat room.
You know why? Because you know she had ate what they call her Mimi. Mimi had ate too many bonbons, and that booty done got a little too big, and she knew they was going to drop.
Hey, now, you know, I'm not going to go there, but I'm going to ask this question right here. I think, is it more a lack of failure of preparation that caught her?
Exactly.
Because she was supposed to lip sync, so she could have went on and
she was supposed to lip sync, and as a performer, and been in a situation where the PA has failed or the sound has failed or some tech in the back has failed to do their job, I had to go on with it. I've had times where I had to drop the microphone on the floor and just go ahead and scream at the audience because I had a PA failure or some kind of tech failure. And Mariah Carey, as talented as she is, she should have picked it up and started singing live at that point, but she didn't care enough about her fans, and she didn't care enough about the general public. The whole entire world was watching. We talking about the New Year's Eve Times Square ball drop. The whole world was watching. Mariah, you gonna do us like that? You did us like you did the guy at Sony, and you did us like you did the guy, my guy Nick Cannon.
Well, Nick asked for it, though. Come on. Nick asked for it. Come on.
Nick was smart. Nick was the only one that didn't give up half of what he had. He had that prenup and said, you ain't getting all my Disney money.
In the chat room, they're talking about Mariah Carey and her meltdown. But now, this is the question here.
Spoiled brat.
She got paid for that.
Yes, she got paid for it.
And she got paid up front.
Care.
Right.
And that's why she didn't care. She got her money. She got her money up front. And like I said, when it came down, man, I mean, in show business, people, and I am in show business, and you know yourself, Sean, the show must go on.
Always
no
go
matter
on.
what happens.
No matter what happens.
Last week, last show that we did, we had a technical difficulty.
Oh, yeah.
What did we do? We picked the ball up and we ran with it. We didn't say forget it. We didn't say forget about our fans. We didn't say forget about the chat room. We didn't say forget about none of the clouds or none of the social media that we're on. We picked the ball up and we carried it across the goal line like we were supposed to. Mariah Carey dropped the ball. She didn't care. She already had the money. The check was in the bank, and she said, so what? I don't even care.
So what we're looking at right here is someone that got paid up front and she just didn't drum. And that is true. People all over the world was watching the ball drop.
The entire world.
And that's going – but do you think it's going to hurt her brand?
Yep. It already did. Look how she's dealing with the fallout. She don't even care. She won't even man up. She won't even woman up.
What?
She won't even woman up and accept her fault and say, you know what? It happened. I apologize. It should have never went down like that. And I truly, to my fans, to NBC, to Dick Clark, I apologize. And I tell you what, next year I'm gonna do the thing again, and I promise you that it's gonna be done right.
But Dick Clark failed his fans also because he should have had a cutaway. You know, you have to always have that area where you cut the feed and jump into something else. You know.
What was they gonna do? Go back to last year?
No, you know what? They could have put Flavor Flav up there. You know, they could have cut over the Flavor Flav or something. You know.
They could have did something, and it was an unexpected glitch. But in that instance, again, as a performer who goes on stage and perform live, when it comes down the pike, when there's a technical difficulty, it does not fall on the production staff. It falls on the artist.
So when you look at the glitch, where did the glitch start? Did it start when she was coming out on the stage? I mean, down the stairs, or did it start when she went to the stage? Because it looked like she forgot what she was supposed to do.
That's exactly what happened. She didn't care. She didn't care enough. You know what? She didn't prepare for it, number one. She didn't prepare for it because she had to lip sync. Now, Beyonce knows, fell down the steps on more than one occasion while doing a live performance.
All you entertainers out there, we know we got some entertainers out there, especially people who been inside a business and stuff, give us a call at 1-866 484-7865.
Call us
One
up.
eight six six 484-7865. The phone lines are open. We're gonna leave the phone lines open for the rest of the show. We're sitting here talking about. I'm in Studio 51 on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 with Doug Million, comedian from Cleveland, holding up the world is what I say. He's a new member of our show. He's going to be in the funny chair. We're going to get some stuff together for him. He's going to be doing some J. Anthony Brown type stuff called the funny chair.
Oh man, J. Anthony Brown. Listen, bruh, if you out there, man, I ain't trying to steal no
Jay,
shine from
well,
you, Jay.
well, Jay, we stealing everything
I
from
ain't
you.
trying to steal no shine from
Hey,
you. Just get on out the way, Jay, because you old.
Just
man.
like
I'm
we told our
taking
boy T.Y. Martin, you know, T.Y. Martin and
T.Y.
a good friend of mine was on Facebook after our show, and one of them was talking to T.Y. and I had to go in and tell him, hey, what's up, T.Y.? You know,
T.Y.
We want to send a shout out. This year alone, we're going to do a lot of great things. Our show is going to be about a lot of good topics. There's so much going on in the news. We're going to have to stay on top of it, but we're going to try to do some local issues also. We like to send a shout out to our Girl Scouts here in the North
Girl
Collinwood
Scouts of
area.
America.
Our troop, we're going to have them on the show. Probably.
What's the troop number?
Right? I can't tell you.
But they're going to be here. They're going to be live in the studio.
Girl,
y'all going to have to call in and buy
our,
cookies.
our Girl Scout troops, if you listening, give us a call, 1-866-484-7865. Everybody wants to know what your number is. I told them last time. I'm not going to tell them this time. If you want to send yourself out, give us a call at 1-866-484-7865 and tell the people on Stop the Madness, Keep It 100, what you doing and where you going to be selling your cookies at.
And we ain't going to have no Mariah Scary meltdowns on here. We're going to keep it real.
Then we're looking at the situation, too. What we're going to try to do is get some live people. Shawnee and Mac is supposed to be coming into the studio also. So, Doug, tell the people, we went into so much jumping you on the show earlier, and then we kidnapped you into the show. Tell our audience about yourself and what they can expect for 2017.
Oh man, 2017 gonna be real. Well, first of all, I've made myself a new home here at STMK Radio 100, keeping it real, y'all. I'm gonna be here. We're gonna be doing more and more shows. I'm gonna be having a lot of my people coming out as people come into town and they do their tours. I'm gonna have them coming in and doing live interviews. We're gonna be doing some phone interviews with some really, really, really big stars and some really, really, really little stars. And everybody been asking, who is this guy, Doug Million? Well, some of y'all know me from being a stand-up comic. I've been doing stand-up comedy for about 25 years now. I took a little break and I took some time off and I came home to make sure that my children were okay. But now that my son is in college and my daughter is doing her thing, I'm back into it. I'm working on a couple screenplays. I'm gonna be doing In the Funny Chair with comedian Doug Million right here live on STMK, and a little bit of history. Some of y'all know me from the movie American History X with Edward Norton. If you have not seen it, go get that movie. I done been on BET and Def Jam. No, I'm lying. I was in the line at BET buying tickets to go and see somebody. No, but I've been on stages around the world. I've worked with Thea Vidal, Michael Winslow, Jimmy J.J. Walker, just to name a few. And like I said, I was in the movie American History X with Edward Norton. I was in another small movie called The Edge of 17, not the new remake that they just made. This was with a guy, Richard Hubery. And one of my biggest things was I played a heavyweight boxer in a little independent film called Undefeated that went to the Cleveland International Film Festival a couple years ago. And we did 2 weeks there. And I'm just doing my thing, man. I'm blessed. I'm blessed to be here with you, Sean, doing internet radio. I really love this forum, and I appreciate and respect what you're doing, how you bringing things to the forefront and educating people. And I'm just, man, I'm just doing my thing. And 2017 is gonna be the year that it all comes together, man. Cause I got a couple screenplays I'm working on. I'm gonna be holding auditions. I want to give a big shout out to my boy, the mayor of Cleveland, Steve Turner. He's off in LA right now doing his thing, and he'll be coming back up here. He and I will be collaborating on some things. TY and myself will be collaborating on some things. And a big shout out to my man Rob Allen, who had a big show here last week. He had over 400 people come out and do his thing for New Year's Eve, and he put a really good show together, and it was a sellout. He'll be making some appearances in some of the things that I'm doing, and I'm just gonna be doing my thing, man. I'm gonna be keeping it real the way I keep it real, and I ain't gonna have no Mariah scary meltdowns.
Well, we're happy. We're happy to have you here on Stop the Madness. Let should be back with us in a couple of weeks. She's coming back off of being ill, so she should be back with us. Tone Stone, we want to send a congratulate out to him. He completed his course, his college course,
man.
and
Get on back in here.
it's time for him to return to the show and start kicking out and showing everybody what he can do. Facebook Live, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat. We appreciate you being with us and for you being on all our social media. And the people around our 19 cities, we'd like to thank you for coming in with us also. And we'd like to thank you for showing us all the love. What we're going to do is this right now. We would like to come back to everybody and just say thank you for starting the new year off with us.
Thank you, Danke, Avita,
and we all
Vidanya.
And we all know that Doug Million will be here with us. Good luck to Clemson and the young guy that's going to be coming to be the #1 Browns quarterback.
Go get him, Clem.
For all you people out there in the chat room, we're going to come back into the chat room and we're going to talk about a lot of stuff together. We don't never leave you out, and you know that, and we appreciate you being in the chat room. And for this right here, Doug, it's that time.
Fan base is big, I can't lose. Sugar bow down, I'm the next to move, but I'ma stay on the cool. Remain on the under, cause like Andre 3000, your boy's ice cold. Ain't no limit to the gimmicks and ways to make money. No limit to the just to act funny when you get that cake, cause you spit that way. They may love you tomorrow when they hate you today. But yo, that's the way the story goes, so I was told. Following the ramble down the yellow brick road. Please believe at the end, ain't no pie to go. Just some platinum beats from the Cleveland streets. You ain't never ever seen a gangster quite like me. You know I don't give them, and never gave them. I'm just living it up. No, I hold it down, baby, because I'm certified G. I'm just living it up. The money can't go with me, so I'm spending it up. Money ain't a problem, still loving, living comfortably. Never giving it up. I made it all on my own. You ain't getting above. Shawty got it live with the players from K16. Yes.
Well, Doug, is another day down and another day to go.
Thank you, Cleveland. Thank you, Snapchat. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, chat room. Thank you, Instagram. Thank you, MixWeb. Thank you, MixCloud. Thank you, Big Cloud. Thank you, Little Cloud. Thank you, Rain Cloud. Thank all of y'all for tuning in. Come on back and sit back in here with us on STMK Radio 100. Stopping the madness and keeping it real.
This is your host, Sean L. I'd like to thank all of y'all for coming in, spending the day with us on this Saturday, the first Saturday of the year. We'd like to thank everybody on our social media outlets. This is Stop the Madness, Keep It 100. And you know, always before I leave the air, I like to say peace, love, and happiness. And 2017 will be the year that we make a difference. Thank you again, and thank you everybody for listening in to Stop the Madness.
Live, love, laugh, baby, baby.
See ya!
You've been listening to Stop the Madness, Keep It 100 on STMK Radio 1.